Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Hey guys, watch Mojo. My name's Connor. If you're new, the original link to the video, top of the description. Let's get started. Preemptive, like, David Attenborough is a national treasure. Well, he's an international treasure, okay? He's like Steve Irwin.
No.
Well, Steve Irwin, by the way, guys, I hope everyone's doing well. Hi, guys. Steve Irwin was the first because no one in my family, had died, or no one like super close around me had died. And so when Steve Irwin died and I heard about it, that was the first case in my life where someone died that I was like, what did you just say? Like, that had somewhat of an impact on my life. Obviously it doesn't have the same impact as like a close family member or something, but no one had died at that point when I was a kid. And I'll never forget how I felt when I found out Steve Irwin died. It's a bad day.
Naturalist, broadcaster, presenter. This man is a national treasure. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting
Birds are so freaking awesome.
down our picks for the top 10 Sir David Attenborough moments.
When he came to allocate a scientific name to this bird, called it woohoo.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day.
If
so
it
be sure
weren't for primates, birds would be my favorite things on
to
this
subscribe
planet.
to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For more than half a century, David Attenborough has brought the wonders of nature into our front rooms.
What is that thing, like 80 years old already?
For this list, we'll be focusing on his most memorable moments from documentaries, interviews, and other public appearances.
I mean, I've been humiliated enough in the Amazon forest and losing myself. I mean, that, and you really do feel it.
Number 10, The Capercaillie, The Life of Birds. This documentary series studied the evolution of birds, plus their shared and singular habits, casting new light on hundreds of species. During the course of its filming, Sir David covered over 250,000 miles, visiting more than 40 countries, yet arguably its best and most memorable moments came close to home.
Isn't it fascinating how the male in the species, definitely in birds, but in I would say mammals too, and a lot of, like, they tend to be the more kind of beautifully looking, like, ornate of the species. And it tells you a lot about sexual reproduction. The fact that, you know, many females of the species are just very, you know, plain looking and whatnot. And the males are all these, like, gorgeous looking things. Shows you how the female species needs standards that the male species don't. It's just a numbers game for the males. But for females, it's like you want to pick the best one to give genes for your offspring. And so I think that's fascinating.
In the Highlands of Scotland.
And the best, in the end, is claimed by the most powerful male, who will defend it against any intruder.
As Attenborough enters the territory of the world's largest species of grouse, the Capercaillie, he comes face to face with a bird that mistakes him for a love rival. Run, David, run!
This being the breeding season, they will display into almost anything, including me. No doubt, no doubt.
Number 9.
You ever, like, sit next to a swan that's hissing? I'm talking too much. I don't need to give a story for
The
everything.
Wolf Call, The Life of Mammals. In his memoir, Adventures of a Young Naturalist, Attenborough tells the story of how he once wrestled a red-maned wolf in Argentina. Perhaps that is how he got to know the animal so intimately, for in the following clip he shows off an impressive ability to copy their call. As the presenter explains how wolves are able to communicate across long distances, his impersonation copy their call. As the presenter explains how wolves are able to communicate across long distances, his impersonation is so convincing that he appears to draw responses from an entire valley full of the animals. It's eerie and incredible at the same time.
That sound. The only other sound in nature that I might like more than that, guys, is like an elk. I need to show it. Okay, fast forward if you don't care about this, guys. It's fine. Elk call. Come on, be the right one.
At Progressive, we don't believe...
No, internet. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. Like it sounds like a very unpleasant sound at first, maybe, but I just love it. I feel like I'm in like a fantasy world.
Number 8, meeting Barack Obama. David Attenborough meets President
Really?
Obama. On the occasion of
Nothing against Obama, but this is a top 10 David Attenborough's list. Why is this here?
Attenborough's 89th birthday, he was invited to the White House by the then President of the United States.
Guys, this could be with any president, okay? I don't care about politics. Why is this in the top 10 list?
David Attenborough, thank you so much for being here. As I was telling you in our walk over,
I don't mind
have
Obama.
been a huge
He's
admirer
fine.
of your work for a very long time.
Obama wanted advice about the most critical issues
And
threatening
that's the best praise I can give to a president, is I don't mind them.
the Earth in the 21st century, and after half a century as a leading naturalist, no one is better placed to give it than Attenborough.
And the rising in temperature, global temperature, is a very, very serious worry indeed.
Of course, he has long been a spokesman on issues such as climate change and conservation, giving this sobering warning in his 2000 documentary series, State of the Planet.
I feel offended that this is part of the list. I'm sorry.
It's now increasingly apparent that one species, our own, has developed the unique ability of so altering its surroundings that it can destroy whole species, indeed whole environments.
Number 7, Lonesome George, Galapagos 3D. The Pinta Island tortoise, Lonesome George, was once the last known member of his species and the rarest creature in the world.
This is the rarest living animal in all the world.
When Attenborough visited the Galapagos
know of.
National Park in 2013, he was granted just 30 minutes alone with Lonesome George. He was asleep for most of it, but awake for a few crucial moments.
So now George lives in his own enclosure, completely safe but entirely by himself.
Sadly, George died a fortnight after this clip was filmed, but has since become an important symbol for conservation efforts in the Galapagos Islands and beyond.
One of you guys made a really good comment against something I said, where a fortnight was mentioned, and I was like, "What's the point of a fortnight? Just say 2 weeks." And then one of you commented in that video, it's like, "Why have month? Just say 4 weeks." And that was a really good point. And I laughed because of just how much you destroyed me there.
And George and David briefly became
Whoever
one
you
of
were,
television's
thank you.
greatest double acts.
I needed that.
But at least he can be a living inspiration for us all to protect the remainder of the reptiles and amphibians
Like when David Attenborough, never
of the
mind.
world.
Number 6,
Sorry.
Birdsong
I
Blue.
interrupted him. A freaking.
Inspiration for us all to protect the remainder of the reptiles and amphibians of the world.
Number 6, Birdsong Bloopers. Attenborough's Paradise Birds. Attenborough achieved a childhood ambition when he traveled to New Guinea to film Birds of Paradise for Attenborough in Paradise in 1996, and he has continued his association with some of the world's rarest bird life ever since, including narrating these images of the creatures courting rituals, which are regarded as some of the greatest wildlife footage ever captured. But not everything always goes according to plan.
This surely is one.
As a consummate professional, Attenborough usually records his scripts in a small number of takes.
I saw a video of a peacock flying.
Yet,
It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life.
here one bird was determined to
Look at that thing.
upstage him.
By about the 18th century. And so
His hair looks like Trump's hair. I'm the best bird. No bird's better than me.
very well.
Number 5, the Adele voiceover, The Greg James Show.
Look as the world's most famous pop
Hello,
star zooms down a dirt
James.
track in an old Mini.
During his distinguished career, Sir David has provided plenty of hilarious voiceovers on subjects ranging from nightclubs to Olympic curling. But perhaps his most famous alternative voice work came in 2015 when Radio 1 DJ Greg James challenged him to narrate the opening to Adele's music video for her song Hello.
Her surroundings
Great
are
song.
unfamiliar and unwelcoming, but this is no match for such a cool customer, so she decides to tidy up a bit. Oh, dusty, isn't it?
With a script in the style of one of his famous documentaries, this performance underlines not just Attenborough's versatility, but also his sublime sense of humor.
The lesser-spotted Adele is about to be everywhere again.
Have you heard her talk like in real life, not sing? I love her accent. I love it. I feel like I don't think of it as like a British accent. Well, clearly it's very British, but
It's me.
Number
It's not
4, the
Cockney,
orangutan, Zoo Quest. Heading back to Attenborough's first major TV appearance, here he partners with staff from London Zoo to collect specimens for their expanding collection, an accepted practice back then.
And soon, every time I passed his cage, he stretched out his hand to attract my attention.
I thought that was a person's hand. Jesus Christ. It's so cool.
In the hope that he'd get some more food.
And this now famous clip shows Attenborough's natural affinity with the animals as he wins the trust of the orangutan, Charlie, and eventually coaxes him out of his cage and onto deck.
And then, for the first time, 4 days after we'd had him, we encouraged him to come right outside his
That's
cage.
exactly what I look
Once
like when I
rehomed
wake
in
up.
England, Charlie actually fathered the first orangutan to be born at London Zoo, establishing its breeding colony.
Is that him? Quite handsome when he was young, huh?
First orangutan to be born at London
He still
Zoo,
is handsome, what am I saying?
establishing its breeding colony.
Within a few days, he was so tame that he allowed me to put ointment on the bad graze which he had on his wrist.
Number 3, the blue whale, the life of mammals. Meeting a blue whale was another of Attenborough's boyhood dreams,
I don't mind a little acting to like make the performance, but you can tell when somebody isn't, not just that they're not acting, but they're actually suppressing themselves a little because of their excitement.
to faultlessly deliver a perfect
I know I'm pausing a lot. If any of you complain about the pausing, I'm gonna freak out. But look at how it's like it.
Such huge.
So over time, the nostril, wherever it was placed on the its ancestor that was kind of just entering into the water, just gradually went more and more up until it was like here, so that you could just more easily breathe.
Eyes as that magnificent creature.
Rather than having to go up like nose first and like get some breath and go down.
clear fan favorite moments from the presenter's long and distinguished back catalogue, few scenes so magnificently sum up the magic of the natural world.
And as it tilts its 100-ton body downwards, so it can plunge to the black world 500 feet or more below the surface.
100-ton for a blue whale actually is pretty
Number
small,
2,
I
the
think.
baby rhino, Africa.
It's like 200,000
This
pounds.
documentary obviously set
I think they can get up to like close to 400,000.
exclusively in Africa. This documentary, obviously
Adorable.
set exclusively in Africa, features one of the most moving moments of Attenborough's entire career. Nicky never did get his eye operation, but still thrived in the care of a Kenyan wildlife team.
You can just tell that like he loves animals, but he'll do a documentary, not he needs to do a documentary and so he needs to love animals. It's the other way around. It's
Those
so
principles were surely pushed
and
to
so
their limits
obvious.
here. Nicky never did get his eye
Beautifully
operation,
obvious.
but still thrived in the care of a Kenyan wildlife team.
Well, rhinoceros eyes are extremely poor to begin with, right? I'm not saying that it doesn't matter, obviously.
Number 1, mountain gorillas. Life on Earth. This clip has
Of the gorilla than any other animal I know.
filmed in Rwanda. It begins with a scripted section about the largest members of the ape family. But after feeling the hand of a female gorilla on his head, Attenborough's encounter with the group gets a little closer than he'd anticipated.
Sometimes they even allow others to join in.
And the reason why the presenter is smiling and grimacing throughout, because out of shot, 2 playful baby gorillas are carefully removing his shoes. Do you agree with our picks?
I agree with anything David Attenborough. Okay, I don't agree with the president one. That's not. Get that out of here. Get out of here. I feel, especially with primates and animals more closely related to us, just like we can, like, you can sense bad vibes without even speaking to someone, right? It's about body language, posture, facial expressions. Are you more like intimidated and might cause trouble, or more subdued and clearly more nice and chill? And I'm sure animals like gorillas can read that. And David Attenborough is just a nice, great guy. And I don't think it just takes a human to realize that. Amazing video. Amazing. Yeah, love you guys. Hope you're all doing well. Would appreciate any comments as always. And hopefully I'll see you next video. I love David Attenborough. Love him. Bye, guys.